Sports have amassed large portions of our past generations' lifestyles and have intrigued us humans since people were lining up outside of the Roman Colosseum waiting to watch contenders virtually fight till their inevitable death. Mankind's love of sports and everything that encompasses it has not dwindled at all, as sporting events such as the Olympics draw in billions of viewers every time they are televised. The web of influence in sports has reached to almost all corners of the world, and that of course means it has reached the pinnacle of associations and corporations, money. Under-the-table betting and sketchy sports wagering has shadowed the sports world since its inception. These disclosed betting formats and platforms lead to things such as crime, fraud, and even the fidelity of the sports events themselves. America has frowned upon sports gambling since the beginning. However, we are closing ourselves off to numerous benefits that can be provided through legalization, whether that be mass creation of jobs, the extremely large monetary benefits, and the prevention of gambling addictions. The stigma of sports gambling and gambling in general for hundreds of years has been negative, and this is because of the stream of poor things that are usually associated with gambling. Alcoholism, drug abuse, gambling addictions, family problems, and poor financial decisions have all plagued the gambling sphere for eternity, and this is partly due to the poor regulation that creates this sort of environment. No matter how much the negatives are publicized, the positives have been simply ignored. And much of these negatives that come with gambling could be minimized or eliminated if a safe, secure system was put into place. The problem with sports gambling in its current form is it is unsupervised in the United States. Websites are created by the day with unknown users and unknown owners funneling money digitally without any ability to trace the bets. These untraced bets provide loopholes for individuals who are committing white-collar crimes such as money laundering, tax evasion, and fraud. According to Elaine Povich, over $150 billion is gambled illegally in the United States, mainly through the NCAA and the NFL. The current gambling situation has left individuals with no sanctions or supervision imposed upon them. This has given addicts the ability to risk as much as they want to at any time without any transactional history. Local bookies and international online bookies have no interest in any individual's well-being. Matter of fact, they would most likely encourage their participants to risk as much as possible as it benefits them in the long run. According to NAFGAH, 2.6% or roughly 10 million Americans face gambling addictions. A large portion of that can be attributed to illegal or under-the-table place bets. Now, to look away from all the negative stimuluses associated with sports gambling and to shift over to the potential positives of a safe, regulated sports gambling system. The establishment of a state government-backed support gambling site or casino will allow for a strictly regulated and/or supervised environment that will look out for the best interest of its participants. Withdrawal, deposits, and risk limits are some of the few ways that an individual can be monitored and protected. The regulation of sports betting in these states can also provide those afflicted with gambling addictions with routes for help by posting hotline information as to where they can receive treatment, also having the capability to post advertisements promoting awareness of this disease on their sites. The major and obvious benefit of legalized sports betting is potential tax revenues. Americans are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into these offshore companies that have no obligation to the United States. When an individual places a bet with any of these numerous offshore websites, such as Bovada, the money is being pulled away from the American economy and potentially going to benefit causes that do not support the American people. Whether the tax that is placed on sports gambling is a fixed or compound rate, it will pull this money back towards the American economy regardless, which can help us pay for health clinics, bridges, infrastructure, education, and much more, just as other taxes do. In 2017, an Oxford report published stated that if there were to be legalization of sports gambling, throughout the United States, then there would be an increase of roughly 11 billion to 14 billion in potential gross domestic product. Another major concern among the anti-gambling community is the fear that sports gambling causes and leads to substance abuse or alcohol addiction. Gambling has carried the reputation that its participants are all involved in heavy drinking or even common drug usage. However, this is a false precedent set by society. Dr. Matheson, a medical sociologist at St. Michael's Hospital, discusses the link between online gambling and substance abuse. Matheson explains how these two addictions are not causations of one another. However, they are the effects of one underlying disorder, which is a compulsivity disorder. The world of gambling would change drastically if the government were to legalize nationwide. Through government intervention, corruption in the gambling industry would plummet. In this picture, published by Ben Rosie, you can see the problem with money laundering and crime within the industry. Gambling addicts would be provided with the help that they need through posted hotlines on government websites, and the economy would flourish due to massive tax revenues that sports gambling brings in with the help of the job creation. In this picture, according to the Adro Market Research Team, you can see the prospective future of the sports gambling market and how it will not only have an effect on the economy now, but also for years to come. In a world where sports gambling continues to be illegal throughout the United States is a very dangerous one. People who need help and are putting their hard-earned money into these websites that are not looking out for their best interests are stuck in this never-ending loop of potential financial wildfire because the government is incapable of monitoring the amount of money won and lost. The opportunity to put an end to the massive amounts of money laundering that are funneled through these online sites is closed off and is going to continue. The potential economic boom that would come indefinitely through this legalization is no longer possible. Sports gambling is legal and where it is not are two very different things. The outcomes are the complete opposite of one another. The benefits may have been masked in the past times, but in modern time they are pretty clear-cut and we are just waiting to reap the benefits. Sports gambling is a controversial topic. However, the positive outweighs the negatives, and so many problems with the relationship between the sports world and the financial world can be avoided if a safe, effective, government-backed system is put into place. Money laundering and gambling addiction will become a thing of the past in the gambling world, and the modern gambling policies will create an economical surge. I intend to support individuals who are working towards the nationwide legalization of sports gambling. We're pushing towards the right decision in our country. Help the cause.